ELECTIONSouth Australians to vote in state poll. South Australians are set to vote in the state election on Saturday, which will decide the fate of the Liberal government led by Premier Stephen Marshall. Close to 1 million South Australians are set to cast their votes in a state election that will either return Liberal Premier Stephen Marshall for a second term or install Labor's Peter Malinauskas as SA's next leader. More than 1.2 million people have registered to vote, but around 300,000 have cast an early ballot or applied for a postal vote. They could be crucial to the outcome, along with 6 independents who could help one of the major parties form government if the result is a hung parliament. Watch the latest news on Channel 7 or stream it for free on 7plus. Greater than recent opinion polls have Labour in a commanding position, and while the opposition needs just a 2% swing to pick up the necessary 5 seats, it remains unclear if the swing will come in the right places, a string of marginal seats held by the government. Mr. Malinauskas has focused heavily on health throughout the election campaign, promising to spend big to fix an ailing system plagued by ambulance ramping and overloaded hospitals. But that has allowed Mr. Marshall to mount a sustained attack on Labour's big spending promises, warning of higher taxes and charges if the opposition wins. If the government falls, it will be the first in Australia to suffer such a fate during the COVID-19 pandemic. Though it's unclear just how much SA's handling of the virus will sway voters. The state did well in the early stages of the pandemic, but the government later came in for criticism, at times for maintaining local restrictions, and then for opening SA's borders as the Omicron wave hit. The polls open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and close at 6 p.m., with the SA Electoral Commission warning a result may not be known for several days. Special measures will be used across the state's 690 polling places, with social distancing enforced and everyone required to wear a mask. Each polling booth will also have a hygiene officer to ensure the voting stations are regularly sanitized. All staff working at polling booths have been fully vaccinated.